Hi, Flosstube.
Greetings.
I'm Laura.
Hi, Joe.
Welcome to the Silver Farm.
Crazy fun. Let me see. I believe this video is supposed to be welcome back, all our returning subscribers. I'm never going to do this seriously, by the way, if you haven't noticed yet. Welcome back to all of our returning subscribers. Welcome, all you new people. This is where we talk about cross stitch, called Flosstube. If you're completely new to this and you just like, oh my god, I can find people who do cross stitch on YouTube, and somehow you found ours. Type in Flosstube into the YouTube search after you're done watching this video. Your head will explode.
Okay, then.
It'll be a stitch explosion.
It'll be a stitch explosion.
Kind of like a crafter when she opens the wrong box.
How we all doing? How we holding up? Are we making it?
I got plenty of duct tape. I'm holding everything just fine.
We're holding it together. I don't know if we're holding it together at this point.
Yes, we are.
Mother Nature needs to calm herself down, though. Right now, Mother Nature needs to calm herself down. I can only deal with one crisis at a time. And thunderstorms? I'm sorry, Mother Nature. You need to calm it down. We got some serious thunderstorms. What was it? Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday night? Friday night, Saturday, during the day, Saturday night into Sunday. Like, I think at one point we were slightly concerned we might not have a roof anymore.
No, I wasn't worried about that, but I was worried about having a wall taken out by the shed. Like, I was expecting the entire shed to get lifted up and thrown into the house.
It was rough.
Yeah, like, Mother Nature pruned all the dead branches already. If it was even slightly weak and they went down.
Yeah, most of them off of our neighbor's tree onto our driveway.
No, a lot of them went under her area too. She just cleaned most of them up by the time we got home.
We had to go grocery shopping yesterday. So.
Have we said what today is yet?
Today is Monday, March 30th. No, I didn't say what today is.
Oh, and most companies have canceled April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day is canceled.
Yeah. The world has hit us with enough.
Like,
I like a good prank. I can't match what the world has done.
So do I. What else do I have? Oh, Dragon Lore is moving right along now. They took the shield spell away last week. Yesterday they removed the Draught of Life, which was kind of heal all damage spell. I mean, it was a bear to stitch to get it. Sort of. There's quite a few groups that have some pretty strong stitchers in them. I'm not a strong stitcher, unfortunately. I am slightly outmatched in this game, and I don't know about that. But anyways, things are moving along now. I think the admins kind of, they do have changes planned. Obviously, they've learned what works, what doesn't work. It's a learning curve. It's a learning curve.
Absolute suck. Absolutely healed. Absolutely free from attack. Does not work. Do not deal in absolutes.
There is a shield spell in Myth and Magic, but it takes a bit more to stitch up than it did in this game. So, they've got to learn. They've got to learn. It's a learning curve. Plus, they expected to have 4 people adminning the game, and they only have 2 right now. So, I give them some slack. Yeah.
What happened to the other 2?
Don't know. They haven't said, but there are clans getting eliminated, so we're moving along now. Wednesday starts Myth and Magic, the Myth and Magic stitching game. We had a splitting of the clan. A couple of us on the Giants team decided we were going to go and work and do another team. Shit happens. Poop happens, said Bedward. It is what it is. So let's talk about who we got love from on last week's video.
We got it from Andrea, Glenna, Who's Your Apple? Or Apple. Bridget. No, I didn't stutter. Cheryl. And you might not just realize I replied to a couple of those because YouTube decided to block my replies.
YouTube, you have to go in and apparently approve new commenters, and
Might also be the fact that I replied to 3 of them at once.
I don't
know. We need to see if you can turn that off.
I don't think you can now that they have the whole.
I don't know what spam has to do with the parental control.
I don't know. I just have to pay more attention. I didn't get any notifications on comments on last week's video. So honestly, I didn't reply to any comments until today. So, guys, I don't know.
Just check the video on Friday.
It is what it is. It's just
most of your comments are gotten by the end of Thursday, so check it on Friday every week. Do what most people do. Don't use YouTube's notifications. Heck, they're broken on this end. Let alone your end. That's what the bell notification thing's for.
By the way, Cheryl wants to know what kind of asthma medicine you're on.
I'll go get it in the intermission.
No, she wants to know. She apparently got the good stuff.
Yeah, I have good asthma. It is strong. I need something strong.
You were quite hyped up last week.
Oh, you mean I actually had oxygen in my system?
And then he didn't take his normal pill on Saturday because we both slept in way late. And he slept all day.
No, I woke up. Then I fell back asleep. Then I woke up. Then between 12:30 and 4, I woke up a.m. I woke back up. And then I woke up perfectly fine at like 9 on Sunday. And she was just like, what?
To be perfectly honest, though,
me being up between 12 and 4 might have had something to do with the fact that we had intermittent bouts of, oh my God, we're all going to die.
Yeah, the weather kind of did not help my sleeping over the weekend, and I really just wanted to sleep all weekend, and I was tired all weekend. That and my mental health has been through all of this.
Yeah, this weather. Oh, as one person said, what was the one comment I saw? They said that soon enough, this year's allergy season is going to become the Salem witch trials.
Yep. All right. Let's move on. Are we ready to move on to whips, darling?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to whips. Whips. What you got, homie?
I actually got some stitching.
He's stitched, y'all.
Hyrule Zelda Light World map.
I accidentally turned Google on.
I completed this thing and then started doing some filling up here. I moved on to a different color.
Completed the cloudage there on that corner.
Sort of.
On that corner.
Sort of. I still have to fill in. This is 2 separate bits of confetti in there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually 5 colors that make up the clouds.
Good times.
Yep.
Well,
a source of water.
my week started out really crappy stitching. It did. Like, I could not.
Like my last 3 weeks?
I could not drag myself into stitching. I could not concentrate. And actually, I was having that problem Saturday too. But in the end, I ended up stitching a ton this week. Of course, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I didn't do much other than go to work and stitch. And take care of, the household things that I had to take care of.
And her going to work doesn't take as long as it used to.
And now, after Wednesday, going to work is a couple hours a day because we have to take precautions with being in close proximity of the kids. because of health concerns, so I'm really only doing lunch and coming home. Not
Yeah,
the greatest situation, but I guess at least I'm working. Even though my dad yelled at me about it, but whatever.
No, he didn't yell. He just gave his opinion loudly.
So anyways, so my stitching started out really slow this week, but it picked up a tremendous amount of steam Wednesday when I came home and just wanted to cry, so all I did was sit and stitch. And Thursday and Friday were kind of the same. So, let's talk about what I stitched on.
Nothing was super confetti craziness, apparently.
No. Excuse me, no.
Your brain wasn't having that.
No, my brain wasn't having that. I tried to stitch on my shadow lane on Saturday and went, nope. My brain's not having it. So I stitched on my Shores of Hawker and Hollow block for 2 prompts. I think 2 prompts. This was my project for something that would prevent the construction of my tunnel for John Henry Week. And it was...
The ocean.
Oh, I finished the prompt to stitch on something in sky blue for St. Patrick's Week because I ended up getting to a point where I was like, oh, I can finish that. I'm going to finish that. And then I stitched on it, and then I just kept going because I was stitching on it for certain items for Dragon Lore, so I just kind of kept going and stitched on it for a prompt for this week's prompts, which is to stitch on something that's not real, but you wish was real. I'll explain in a minute. I'll explain that when we get to plans.
I already know what I'd stitch on, and I actually have a stitch for it. Want me to stitch your stitches?
No, I already did them. So, I did 300 and something odd stitches. 302 stitches in blue for my sky blue color. I did 442 stitches, most of it in here, for my tunnel prevention. And then Hawker and Hollow is not a real place, but it sure looks like a nice place to live, and I wish it was real. So I put in another 323 stitches for that.
And she wishes she lived there. Which I will say, living on a small coastal place, especially like in Maine, it's really fun 9 months out of the year.
Yeah. So, you know, so I have almost all of the rocky part done, which is good. Because then I just have some water, some birds, and a sun. And the border. This is stitched on a 32 count even weave in the colorway Cleveland Crud. So I did a bunch of stitches on that this week. But it literally took me 2 days to do the first prompt on this. Because I was just like, with my stitching.
Anybody got Tabasco sauce?
Okay. Then we needed to stitch on a project that we could see the light at the end of the tunnel for. Because, you know, train tunnel through a mountain, light at the end of the tunnel. John Henry. So, the light at the end of the tunnel on the nativity is here. I just have the angel, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph to stitch.
Which, considering what she's been through, is actually not that far from
the light at the end of the tunnel is here.
So, technically, wouldn't that be at the top? What the heck? Our neighbor's camp park.
I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm wondering if it's a Dulux. So, here we are, the light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, I realized I could have used this as my blue too, because I didn't realize I was on the blue. And there's a wee boo-boo in here, but you're never going to know what it is. So, that is 423 stitches. And it is coming along nicely. I am saving all of the back stitch until last, because the last Wiseman I did, I worked on the back stitch part of the way through. And And I got myself really confused. And I figure it's small enough that I'm just going to save the back stitch and not confuse myself.
Anyone you already have?
Yeah. It's just easier that way. It's just easier that way. Okay. So, it took me Monday and Tuesday to stitch the tunnel prevention and the end of the nativity and the light at the end of the tunnel prom. That's how cruddy my stitching was last week. And then it was just like, stitch all the things.
It wasn't cruddy last week. It was cruddy at the beginning of the week. Please be specific.
That's how my week started out. So then I had to stitch on something that could be a stamp. And I picked my pretty flower clock. That is upside down. I am stitching it as 3 panels, and I am on the last panel.
And by the way, just for Shoal's amusement, you can do that. Look, it's even arranged as a stamp set.
Bump, bump, bump. And let's see, 470 stitches on it. Hold it the right way. Got this corner done. Down here. And all of the purple is done. All I have left is green vine and the clock face and the butterfly. So, we're rolling towards a
Hey,
conclusion.
honey, that's more light in the tunnel than the other one. Oh.
I know, but that's what I wanted to stitch on for the other one because, honestly, being that far along on the angel, there is light at the end of that tunnel because I never thought I was actually going to finish that nativity, considering all the...
Don't worry, you would have finished it because I would have growled at you until you did it.
The Hopey Joby that Wiseman gave me stitching them. Okay.
I kept telling her it's like a Band-Aid. Stop pulling it out slowly, just rush it out and get it off.
Hold on, I need a drink.
Mine's across the
I
wall.
picked my can up really funny, so I was holding it funky. Okay.
Funky. That funky monkey.
So then...
I don't know either.
We had to stitch on something that we were able to save money on by not stitching it as charted. I stitched this totally from stash. The fabric was stash, all of the floss was stash, none of it's called for. I stitched it from stash, so I saved money on it.
You want to know a laugh?
What?
I'm starting to think of your prompts and wondering if one of my 2 fit. Dragons of Sumatra will definitely fit that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did not use the Hall 4 silks.
Nativity is on the kit fabric, and my flower clock is on the kit fabric. This is on a piece of 14 count Silk Weavers pink champagne. And
have you got all the outline done?
as you can see, I have almost all of the outline done. The tail is going to get stitched in, and then I'm going to do the tail. So the way the tail is, there's kind of a lot of gaps in the tail. Hold on here. If you look at the mane, the way the mane is, the tail is very much like that. So I don't have the tail in yet. The tail will be over here. I can't hold this so y'all can see it. I don't know what I'm doing. So the tail has a lot of gaps in it. And something is not completely correct in here. I don't know if this is too high, if I miscounted something. It's not lining up exactly like it should. It's not a big deal.
Except she's been fussing about it enough you think it was.
It's got me a little irritated, but I'm going to stitch the tail in and I'm going to fudge it. And then it's going to look fabulous. And I have to do the ground under the horse too.
Her idea of a little is left that she blew the rest of it out of her head.
Well, the only reason it was kind of like, aggravating me is because I was trying to stitch it and count it, and things weren't lining up the way they should. So then I had to go back in and count and realign, and my head was about to explode. Yeah, my head was about to explode. I made it work, and I got to that point.
I'm assuming this happened when I wasn't around or I wasn't paying attention, probably.
Yeah.
Because normally, if your head explodes, I suddenly have a reason to go play video games upstairs.
I'm just, yeah.
Like, why are you upstairs? I don't want to die in the explosion.
So that was 420 stitches. Thought I would pull this off real quick, and I'm not getting there. Okay, so then I told you about shores. So then we had to stitch on a something that made. So then we had to stitch on something.
What?
That has exhausted us. My words. They're just not there. So we had to stitch on something that has exhausted us. And I had a couple of options. I was just not feeling Lady of the Flag. So I stitched on Miss New Year's Fairy because this has exhausted me. Trying to convert this is kind of exhausting. And everybody jokes because I get about 100 stitches in and I go, whose bright idea was it to do this in all metallics?
And the universal response she gets is yours.
And I have to admit, I don't know where my needle went on this. Son of a monkey. For all of the fussing. Needle's somewhere in the bottom of the bag. For all of the fussing, it is turning out quite nicely. This is on Silk Weaver's Fantasy, which is a pink opalescence. And I did 404 stitches on it. Most of it was all down in here. And her skirt, I am like almost there on her skirting. I do need to dig the black metallic out of the shadow lane so that I can finish outlining her wings and do the clock around the clock, but hashtag I'm lazy.
The bags are in the same room. But one morning.
But there's stuff on the thing that's got the bags in it. Anyways. Okay. So. Then Saturday was finishing the one that exhausted me and finishing my not real one. And yeah, Saturday was kind of a stitch day too. Yesterday kind of was too. I had a couple of really good days and a few not so good days where my concentration was just like.
Oh, so when I was around, the concentration was like.
It wasn't just you. So I had to stitch on something that I felt I could teach for the final monthly prompt. I was going to do my shadow lane because specialty stitches and beads and metallics and oh, that'll be so great. And I spent 20 minutes staring at it going, I don't want to do this right now. So I changed my mind.
And you used my idea.
And I used Joe's idea. So I stitched on One Nation. Because I color converted this from the original called fors and mass quantity, which was kind of interesting. I've helped others color convert this in mass quantity. I dyed my own fabric for this, which I teach how to dye fabric. I can teach how to dye fabric. I teach how to color convert. But also, as Joe suggested, I have enough American history knowledge in my brain that I could teach a class on that. So.
Going to Gettysburg and watching the historical stuff was a refresher for her.
Civil War history is my jam. So, I want to get to a few more Civil War historical sites before I die. This is on 28 Count Country Road, hand-dyed by the Silverback Farm. You can't see New Jersey because it's not wanting to show up in pictures. I yanked it out and restitched it in my 2 new colors.
Hey, honey.
What?
I think most of Jersey wishes they could hide right now. But you can see it in person.
You can see it in person. I'm hoping that...
You didn't like my other idea.
Yeah, I don't blame him for wanting to hide right now.
My other idea was to backstitch the edge of it so you can actually have an outline of it.
I don't want to backstitch it. I don't...
No. Not a cord to
I
play
don't
with.
know what else to do to get the white to show. The next line is the white line. I'm going to try a couple different things and see what works, I guess. I mean, you can see it in person. You can see it in person. It looks, it's readable in person. I don't know why you can't see it on camera.
Yeah, was there something?
But that was 548 stitches. I restitched New Jersey and then I did the border around those.
Yeah, you can sort of kind of see it now.
And I don't know if it's just that the lighting is blowing it out.
Well, you are trying to tell the difference between beige and white and beige light.
Yes. So, like I said, I restitched New Jersey and then I stitched the border.
Oh, here's an idea. If my phone cooperates.
Nope, that's just, nope.
That's right.
So. Got a couple ideas I can kick around trying. That was that. And then the only other thing I put a few stitches in on yesterday was my Leave Your New Start, which I did. I know I was going to do a new block of Hawk Run Hollow every 29th of each month this year, but since I changed my plan on Hawk Run Hollow, since life has been an absolute cluster.
Most plans have gone the way of the dodo.
Most plans have gone the way of the wayside, and it was the last Sunday of the month anyways, so I just started a new ornament. I will show that to you next week, because it's part of next week's prompts. So that's been my stitching for the week. So my 3 days that I jammed out the stitching on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was able to stitch 3,332 stitches last week. That's what happens when you want to distract yourself from the world, I guess. So that's my stitching. Let's, we have no haul. There will probably be no haul for a little while. Let's move on to plans and announcements.
Come on.
Plans and announcements. What's the plan, man?
Grab the seat of my pants and go for a ride. That's simple universe. That's how I'm flying right now.
Joe doesn't make plans. Joe doesn't make stitchy plans. Joe doesn't make plans.
Yes, I do make plans. You just find out about them after the fact because they were surprises.
Yep. Okay. Well, you guys are watching this on April Fool's Day. So this week's prompts are April Fool's related.
Yay.
Yay. So let us discuss the prompts. Okay. People have gone to great lengths to create April Fool's April Fool's Day hoax. So we are to stitch on, obviously newspapers news stations. They've all done various hoax. One year, the Columbus Dispatch printed a hoax article that Ohio State was being forced to change their colors from scarlet and gray to, I don't know, some other word for some other variants of gray and red. And one of the teachers I used to work with believed him. Like, you realize that was an April Fool's Day joke. No, it wasn't! Yeah, it is. I got nothing.
A lot of video game companies were very good. I remember World of Warcraft back in the day had the Bard class where you would hold your keyboard like you would the electric guitar from Guitar Hero, because it was back when Guitar Hero was big, and that was the entire April Fool's Day joke.
I've seen some good ones. I've seen some bad ones too. So we're to stitch on something that appeared like a quick stitch at first, but turned into something not. I have a whole list of those. I know that I don't have enough stitches to fulfill the prompt on my peppermint wreath ornament, but I'm going to start with that because that one really fooled me. I'm like, oh, it's a peppermint wreath. It's got like red and white and a yellow bow and greenery. And it's got like 2 shades of each color except for green. Green is 3 shades. It turned into quite the lengthy project. I think after I finish that, I'm probably going to stitch on. What's your suggestion?
Santa House.
Oh no, I knew Santa House wasn't going to be a quick stitch.
Yeah, but I didn't realize, me personally, I did not realize it was going to take you that long just to do the house.
I knew Santa House was going to be a lengthy project. Honestly, a lot of my projects I did know they were going to be a bit lengthy. The cat is sitting in the rocker.
Like this.
Like the king. I will probably do my coaster ornaments because that'll be a quick stitch until you start stitching in that back stitch or that fill, that background fill, and you're going, God, why am I still stitching? God, why am I still stitching? It turns into a length.
Stitch and stitch and stitch and stitch and stitch.
That's my plan for that. Traditionally, an April Fool's prank was one in which a fool is tricked or sent on some ridiculous, undoable errand. So, we are to send ourselves on an errand and stitch on something send yourself on a similar errand by stitching on a whip that features a fake version of something you find in a real store. I'm going to do Santa House because there's lots of things in there that you would find in a real store that are fake.
Elves.
I mean,
Santa, Mrs. Claus.
You can buy furniture in a real store, but it's stitched on, but in that it's fake, that sort of thing. The candy, the sleigh, clothes, so on and so forth. In Scotland, April Fool's Day was traditionally called Gaelic Day, Gaelic being another name for the cuckoo, a common symbol of the fool. Pranks continued into April 2nd, Tally Day, when the celebration celebrants traditionally attached a paper tail or a kick me sign to their friend's back. So we are to stitch on something with a tail. If cardinal points are Ride Forth Singing.
Well, what are you specifically going to be stitching on Ride Forth Singing?
The tail.
Bingo.
I also have the giant bird and its tail on cardinal points to work on. So.
Needle pulling thread.
But I will probably choose Ride Forth Singing because I really want to get that project done and I can see the done in that. Not going to lie. Okay. Press releases for the non-existing New York City April Fool's Day Parade have been issued every year since 1986. Stitch on a whip that has something that doesn't exist in real life, but you wish it did. I picked Shores of Hawthorne Hollow because Hawthorne Hollow looks like it would be a pretty dang nifty place to live. I'm just saying.
I'm going to take something from a YouTuber called Shadiversity.
Hmm.
But what about dragons?
I don't have a dragon.
I know what I'm getting you for your birthday. I have to fix that problem.
I don't have a dragon, Cross Stitch.
I'm going to fix that problem. It's 1, 2, 3 Stitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to go find you a dragon.
I don't have a dragon, Cross Stitch. Okay.
I don't know. I think I'm getting.
On April 1st, 1957, a British newspaper British news show broadcast a 3-minute segment about a bumper spaghetti harvest in southern Switzerland. The success of the crop was attributed to both the unusually mild winter and the virtual disappearance of the spaghetti weevil. I have heard this story before, by the way. I started reading this and I started cracking up because I had heard this story before. The segment, actually, I think Cheryl used this in Spaghetti Week last week. Or told the story in Spaghetti Week last week. The segment concluded with the assurance that for those who love this dish, there's nothing like real homegrown spaghetti. The hoax generated an enormous response. Hundreds of people wanted to know how they could grow their own spaghetti tree. We are to stitch on a piece that features something grown in a tree. I had a couple ideas, but then I wanted to start my ornament. My next ornament for my ornament, and that's mistletoe kisses. So I was like, well, does mistletoe grow on trees? So I Googled it, and mistletoe doesn't technically grow on trees. It's a bush. However, in order for the mistletoe bush to grow, it needs to attach to a tree and be a parasite on that tree. I think in the spirit of the prompt, it fits.
Me, April Fool's! Poor tree. The thing that means that kissing is a parasitic arrangement?
Take that as you will with kissing under the mistletoe, y'all. And then the bonus prompt for the week was to stitch on something with the word April in it. I don't have anything with April on it, so probably won't do the bonus prompt this week. That's it. That's the plans. Announcements. The only real announcement I have is both of the businesses are, well, I take that back. I have 2 announcements. First one being Retreat. The hotel is closed for this, for the foreseeable future with the whole virus thing. So I do not know when I'm going to get dates for the retreat reschedule. End of story. Like, I don't know. So as soon as I know, we'll announce it. But that's probably going to be all the retreat news for a while.
April.
As far as hand-dyed by the Slovak Farm, bags, hand-dyed fabrics, and finishing, I am still open for business. I can ship. I still have access to buying my materials because they can still be mailed to me. Honestly, Joanne Fabrics is still open, so I can go online and order stuff and get curbside pickup. I could go into the store and buy stuff, but I'm not going to do that. If I have to buy stuff from Joanne Fabrics, I'm going to get a curbside pickup. What was I saying? Oh, I can still ship out products. I am still shipping out for both Hand Dyed by the Slovak Farm and the Slovak Farm Bath and Body. I've reduced my days putting stuff in the mail to Mondays and Thursdays solely to reduce the amount that I'm out, even though I'm doing it on my way either to work or from work. Kind of reduce my being outness.
That's
doing my part to stay home and stay safe. We're both essential. We're both considered essential workers, so we both have to go to work.
I have noticed very little difference in my job because most of the people who are considered critical manufacturing are my customers. And we're required for manufacturing in this country. The good news is that when you have not a depression, what the heck is it? A recession, I still had a job.
Yeah. So, but we unfortunately are a part of that essential workforce. So hopefully you are staying well. You are staying home.
Be safe.
You are able to stay home and be safe and be well. And if you are homeschooling your children, God bless you.
You know what? Get a 6-foot stick and write on it, if I can hit you with this, you're too close.
Yesterday when we were out grocery shopping, there was somebody that was standing there waiting to get to what I was looking at. And I literally wanted to turn around and yell, "You're not 6 foot away from me!" Because he was kind of annoying me anyways. Not him. Not him. The other guy in the store. Anyways. Okay. That's all we have for the week.
Wait, we gotta do the like, share, comment, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, bell notification, thingy me bob, all that, typical jazz, social media, yada, 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 yada.
All that stuff. We appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. And we hope that we are a bit of
Something fun to listen to while you stitch and ignore the people in your house.
hopefully we're a bit of joy in your social distancing, stay at home life right now.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.